Hello!
Hey, everybody. Welcome to DnDTime
I usually do Wednesday. I got confused.
Brews.
Yeah.
My cat just fell off a table. This is a fun little show that we do, I guess, on Wednesdays sometimes, where we homebrew fun, magical stuff for Pete and Jeremy's D&D time. Pete, how you doing?
Good. I was like, welcome to DnDTime Talks, the show where we discuss all things Dungeons and Brews. And I got completely boggled by the day. But I'm doing wonderful. I'm very excited to have this alcohol light version of brews for Wednesdays. This is the PG brews.
This is brewless.
Yeah.
But yeah, so tonight we're doing something a little different than usual. Tonight we're going to be homebrewing magic items, which we've done before, but they're all on a theme. We asked you guys on Monday to submit some cool magic item that you might find. Thank you. Some low-level magic item concepts that you might find in like a Grung civilization, maybe in a Grung encampment, or that some Grung might be carrying around in the jungle or the swamp, wherever the hell you find it. And yeah, so that's what we're going to do today. We're going to go through and look at what you came up with and talk through our kind of process.
We got a bunch of cool ones here. I really like some of the stuff that I saw coming in that we're going to be working through. But as we're going through, if other people, particularly those that haven't had the opportunity to submit an item yet via our little document that we made, our little form that we had filled out, you can do that by posting them in the workshop on Discord. I'm going to be monitoring it as we go through. And if players have any ideas for items that they want to send in there, we'll also be looking at some of those as we go through. We'll try to get to as many as we can. Yeah,
if you haven't submitted an item yet, keep in mind you want to submit them in the Discord, which you can find a link to in our chat right now. You can just join the Discord. Super easy.
Wow.
Wait.
Oh, wait.
Spectator, you're live.
Spectator.
Hello?
Spectator, I miss you.
Spectator, here, it's open. Why are you not?
Whoa.
All right, gentlemen, we'll be right back super quick.
Welcome back, Spectator. It's good to see you alive and well.
Sorry about that, gentlemen. I had to log in, and I had my screen on for this thing here, and
no, Spectator. As we were asking, how about that Discord? There it is.
Yeah, right.
You can find the workshop. It's on our Discord, which is linked there. Also, Jeremy, do you want to do Ask Pete and Jeremy still?
Of course, we'll do Ask Pete and Jeremy at the end.
Yeah, sure. We'll also do Ask Pete and Jeremy, which is a segment where me and Jeremy answer questions from you, be they related to Dungeons and Dragons or just about anything. Which that is also under the Ask Pete and Jeremy channel on our Discord, which you can now find linked right there. Without further ado, want to dive in?
Yeah, and just because I kind of got cut off there at the end because of Discord spectator funkiness, basically, if you have items that you want to submit, you haven't submitted yet, submit them in the Discord. We're not going to be checking the Google form anymore. We've already got everything out of the Google Forms. The Google form is useless now.
That Google form is dead to us. Which is, it's actually is true. It's dead to us.
Yeah.
So yeah, use Discord.
Yeah, so let's jump right in, Pete. Let's talk about some of these fun magic items that people have submitted.
Yeah, we got a few of them here. The first one that we got on the list here is the Better Wetter Net. And as a reminder, I don't know if we talked about it. They're all Grung related. Yeah, you had mentioned that briefly. This is also related to the Grung. The Better Wetter Net was submitted by the Forgotten One. Thank you very much, Frog, for the submission to begin with. And
I was going to say, before we dive totally into it, this is a very, very quick overview. Ooh. So we're trying to find items that are like that would fit really well in a Grung settlement. This kind of ties into the Grung race option we made for DnDTime, going up on the website soon, or at least on the Discord. And we made that this Sunday, or we finished it up this last Sunday. And the stuff we're going to be looking for in these items are things that might correspond to some of the core facets of the Grung, right? Hierarchies, perhaps. Colors would be cool. Because they're all about colorations in their hierarchy. Stuff that has to do with jungles or swamps, because those are some of the environments we opted or we chose for them. Maybe some stuff tying into their amphibious nature, their blowgun and net proficiencies. That kind of stuff is really what we really want to focus on in these items. So stuff that really feels like it makes sense. Grung. Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of stuff that makes sense with the Grung, let's start with the Better Wetter Net.
Indeed. This was an item submitted by The Forgotten One, and I'll read you it as Frog has put it together here. The idea is a net crafted by Grung artificers to catch fish or restrain enemies, all the while keeping them in with stronger water-threaded fabric. A creature can use its action to make a DC 12 strength check, freeing itself or another creature within its reach on a success. Dealing 5 slashing damage to the net with a magical weapon, AC 12, also frees the creature without harming it, ending the effect and destroying the net. Soaking the broken net in water repairs it in 1 minute. So this is just a net. That's interesting. I mean, I like it. It's very
it is. Yeah.
I could definitely picture Grung like using this on the daily. Like it almost doesn't even feel like a magic item. It feels very. It feels like. Yeah, no, I like that. That has like the common magic item tone, which is what we were going for. That was another restriction we put on this, which was we wanted the items that we got today to be of common or uncommon tier. So relatively low power level items.
I was a little confused for some like use DC 12 strength check, deal 5 slash. I realized, this is just the rules for a net.
Yeah.
Which, all right, cool. So it makes sense now. And so I guess the concept in the end, right, is it's a fishing net that the Grung use that self-repairs itself in water.
Yeah.
I super love it. That's
I do
awesome.
Too.
That's exactly the kind of thing we were looking for. Great way to start it off, the Forgotten One. Also a pretty good name. That's like, I don't know what about the name's so good, but it is.
Indeed,
like,
it is.
Better, wetter.
Better. It's the
alliteration, but the rhyme
no,
of it?
That's it is alliteration. It's just a different kind. It's
the end alliteration.
Yeah, no, it's still I think considered alliteration.
So this net, we'll change it to this net. Crafted by the Grung, crafted by. Do we want to say artificers? I feel like Grung don't have artificers.
So maybe this net was.
Well, I say crafted by Grung artisans because
crafted by Grung artisans to catch fish or restrain enemies, all the while keeping them in with stronger water-threaded fabric. And I think I might have a better way of phrasing this. How do you feel about this net was crafted by Grung artisans to catch fish or restrained enemies with strong water-threaded fabric?
Yeah, and I think using strong water, because all the while part just makes it a little close. We want to keep it as
just a little
concise as
extra.
possible.
Indeed.
So using
less is more
strong.
often in these.
But otherwise, pretty good. Oh, Grung Shamans, Sword Co here recommends instead of Artisan. I like shamans, but I want to use that. But let's use it for something more mystical that we come to later.
Barnachima says consonance is the word that we were looking for. See, I thought consonance was when you alliterate with consonants, and then assonance was when you alliterate with vowel sounds, like apples. I can't do
You're
any.
a math major, all right?
But you might be right. So please, if you're certain, then I trust you. Absolutely, Shiva. By Grung Shamans, Sword Co here, but that would have been a cool one, possibly too.
The reason I want to stick with artisans, though, right, is because we have in here, right, we mentioned artisans specifically for the blue grung, I think, right? Something like that. The blue grung are artisans somewhere in here. Yeah, blue grung work as artisan. So maybe that's the idea.
No, I'm with you. I like artists as well. So
cool. So I guess what do we phrase? A lot of this is rules text.
Which actually we don't need. These are the rules for nets, so we actually have already covered it. It's just this net. We know now it is a net, and that mechanically it works as nets do in 5e. And if a player runs it, they just know if they have a question about how a net works, they can look it up in the PHP.
Yeah, this is a thing that a lot of players. Sorry, I was saying a lot of players do this. They put in rules text that exists elsewhere in the game into their magic items, and a lot of the times that can be really confusing. But anyway, go ahead. Sorry, Pete.
And then the other thing that we want to put on here, in that case, the only thing left is soaking the broken net in water, repairs it in 1 minute.
Oh, actually, I see. There is a difference here. Yeah, it looks like the Forgotten One has increased the DC on this, as well as
the damage required to break it.
Yeah, well, it requires it to be magic damage.
Oh,
which no, we're not going to do that in a common magic item because that's not a common item.
Yeah, I mean, we could move it up to an uncommon item, which was within the confines if we want to do that.
Yeah.
What is the DC on a net standard? Is it 8 or is it 10?
I think it's 10 by default. This is usually where we would open up our player's handbook and look at it.
Yeah, and I will just.
Okay, because let's see. If it's a common item, see the common aspect of it is that it self repairs. That makes it a common magic item.
Yeah. Let's see. All right. Yeah. The damage is the same, but the DC would normally be 10, and yeah, obviously it would not be magic damage. So the 5 slashing damage is the same. It's just a question of what direction we want to go, and I think
well, at DC 12 and AC 12, this is an uncommon item instead of a.
Yeah, it's just whether we want to go uncommon or common. I don't think that your choices were wrong per se, Frog. I think,
it's balanced.
You could definitely have made this an uncommon item and been DC 12's for the net. It's a slightly better net, and it has this magic, this regular damage resistance, which I think could be very cool. But I think for our purposes, and just what I kind of I would like to flavor it as the common.
Yeah, I would as well. I think that there's an extreme lack of common magic items in 5th edition D&D, and I feel like players love to get them. Maybe I'm sadly mistaken, but in my experience, players really enjoy getting common magic items because you can just hand them out like candy. Oh, you can give a party 6 of these. Better nets.
Have a magic item.
And they'll probably love that.
I'm sure they'll find some way to weave them all together and make a mega net. So yeah, I liked going that direction with it. So if the net is damaged but not completely destroyed,
yeah, we can just say it magically repairs itself
when submerged in water for a minute.
when submerged in water for at least 1 minute.
Yeah.
And of course, there's probably better language that we could use there. But I like it a lot.
Indeed.
Just right off the bat.
I think that's a great one, and I think it's also done very quick. It's very simple, certainly. Just to cover all our bases, this item certainly does not require attunement.
No, it doesn't.
And
Bionic Sheep is saying players like to use them, but getting them in the bag is a big oof. Yeah, well.
Yeah, that's the bag.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get the power to time travel. Sometimes you
get the better, wetter net.
Sometimes you get a net that repairs itself in water.
All right, so what's next?
The next one would be another one from Frog, so we'll skip past that one just for now, and then we'll go back and see how much time we have. But the next submission I would like to look at here would be the Frog's Breath, which was submitted by Matty Mords. It's a common magic item. Would you like to read this one, Jeremy? I did the last one.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, excuse me.
I like that you took all the time for that warm-up and then coughed as you went in.
As an action, a grung places his effervescent tablet in its mouth. The grung's body, or throat sac, expands, giving it the effects of the jump and feather fall spells for as long as the grung holds its breath, or unless it fails a concentration saving throw after taking damage. Spells with verbal components will also end the effect. At the end of the grung's turn. If an attack is made with a blowgun while under the effect of Frog's Breath, you get advantage on the attack, but the effect ends at the end of the grung's turn. Oh my goodness! Google's being bad boys. We're gonna fix it on this screen. I don't know what the hell's happening with my computer today, guys, but it's being whack. All right, we're back. We're back. It's no longer signed me up. Sorry about that. Where were we? You get advantage of the attack, but the effect ends at the end of the grung's turn like a verbal spell. I gotcha. Okay. This is a more complicated item.
Indeed, it is. This is, for one thing, it doesn't say it on here, but it was noted in the tags, this is a consumable. Consumables in DnDTime, we tend to err on the stronger side with consumables because, well, they're a one use, we want them to feel very impactful. So with one like this, which is probably a smaller effect and also a little bit more niche, just as the first thing that we probably do to this is just give you a bunch of this when you get it, when we put it in the bag. We'd probably do like, this is a 6 of these, or this is 8 of these, something along those lines.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about the design for a moment.
Yeah.
This is currently labeled as a common magic item, which puts it in the same echelon as a consumable as a potion of healing, a regular old potion.
Also, just as a point of order, Jeremy, none of these had actual ratings of rarity on them, so I just blanket put common on everything. So that's not actually Matty Moore's design. I think this was probably intended as.
Yeah, so that was AJ saying, Google wants you to put the common magic items in the shop for gold. Well, but yeah, so this is an interesting item because it's got a lot to it. It does a lot. It's got some magical effects. It's got advantage on attack rolls situationally. There's a lot of minutia to it. But I like it.
I do as well.
Overall. I'm trying to think which direction we really want to go. Do we want to just clean it up as is, or what do you think?
The first core direction I would like to go, this is something that I think fits probably extremely well. I could absolutely imagine Grung and Camps taking these things and then going and inflating themselves like balloons and like jumping around and storming a particular region. It's really fun. Like that image that it creates is really good. But again, because we're going to probably put some of these, or all of these, hopefully, in the bag at some point, I think one thing we'll want to do is make it not apply only to Grung, but make it blanket for all races. and it just gives you like this effect like a grung. So even if you not are a grung, you can like inflate your neck and have this balloon like effect. So that way, if someone who isn't a grung pulls it from the bag, they can still use it.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is a really nice idea.
I do
So
too.
let's start talking about the one. So it's an effervescent tablet. So the bubbly tablet. Okay. So this effervescent tablet was created by what? By Grung Shaman for war. Is that what this is for? Like, what? Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like, what was it? What was its purpose, right? Originally, where's the origin of it? Or is it kind of unknown? Like, what? Why did the Grung use it? Because it's got that combat aspect with the blowgun.
I think this effervescent tablet was created by Grung Shaman to allow Grung to gain the high ground even when fighting in open fields.
See, Matimo was saying for fun.
Oh, for parties? Oh, that's actually just for funsies. This effervescent tablet was created by Grung Shaman to liven up local Grung birthday parties.
Do we really want to go that goofy though?
It's D&D time.
I guess. I'm just trying to think like, all right, sure, whatever. If you want, Pete.
I mean, if Maddie has another couple of ideas, I was down with either of the things that I was throwing out there.
Yeah, because like I want to think of like how the culture uses it. You know what I mean? I'm trying to think of this like a less strictly D&D time level.
Yeah, well, I would picture it, like I said, I was picturing it more for that first usage that I was saying, which is like, they can't always hide in trees if they can't always hide in trees and they want to fight the way that they always fight, even outside of their normal biomes. And this was like a thing that I think would make sense for that, which in cultural terms, like, I think that could be a real use, but
yeah, I see Maddie saying it's mobility and fun and to make them more froggy. Plus, the effect is limited to holding one's breath. I don't know. We can figure out what its exact purpose of it. Oops, I'm messing everything up. What? Okay.
Well, I mean, keep it for now because we will put this in the bag.
That's fair.
I would say this in a long-term campaign, we probably wouldn't flavor it like that. And I think there's a lot of cool stuff you could do with this in terms of how you want to figure it out.
What's cool about it, right, is like I'm thinking about how different groups of Grung could use this, right? I could see like the Grung warriors like roaring, kind of like huge high slow bounces toward the enemy, and then boom, the one alpha strike with the blow darts. But I could also see a bunch of Grung just screwing around, just floating through the jungle.
Your Grung, the Grung of Froggenhoppen, would use it to goof around. I feel like the regular Grung, like, I mean, if you want to get even more kind of wacky with it, well, it just seems kind of wacky is the thing, just the way the mechanics work. Because you could make a case like, oh, artisans use it to get up to high places and like work on their treetop towers, but they can also climb. So a lot of the stuff that a Grung would do, they could do it already by climbing. So this is does feel like, as Matty was saying, for just like, for fun.
Okay. Yeah, all right, cool. So actually, instead of saliva, for recreational fun. That works, right?
Sure.
All right. As an action to be consumed, causing your throat to expand like that of a frog. Well, under the effects of frog's breath, you gain the benefits of the jump and Featherfall spells. That sounds right for the text, right?
Yeah.
Okay. This effect ends early. We can just say these effects early if. How long do they last? Do we want to say they last the duration of the spell? So do we want to say like they end early if you breathe? Or do we want to say
there's an implication that this has to be concentrated on as if one were concentrating on a spell.
Mm-hmm.
So for starters, I think that.
Okay. So these effects last as long as hold your breath. As long as you hold your breath. Yeah, we just say that, right?
Yeah, I think it needs to be mentioned that you do have to concentrate on this. Like you don't just have the boom.
Yeah. Oh, I know. That is to go in there.
As long as you hold your breath. You must.
Minute given breath holding rules. Oh, will it actually average out to about a minute, Maddie? Lol. Go figure. If it attacks me with a blowgun, okay, yeah. As long as you're. If you take damage, holding your breath for the purpose of this item. Oh, God. No, that sounds terrible. Breath in this way?
I think we can just say something along the lines, you must concentrate upon this, you must concentrate on this effect as if you were concentrating on a spell.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's right. But what's the exact text for that? Do you have that off the dome?
I don't know. Is there even something that has that?
Yeah, there absolutely is. There is in the
What are you thinking of?
Pact Warlock, or the Archfey Warlock. There is one of those effects. I think it's Dark.
Okay, I'll look at it. Let's see if I can get the exact thing.
This is what I shouldn't know. All right, let's add the second effect. Additionally, you may end the effect early. Additionally, if you make a blowgun attack.
Okay.
Was I correct?
About Dark Delirium? Yeah.
Yeah!
Sniped. Nicely done. All right, and I'll grab that precisely.
Aha! Excellent. Cool. So we can just say, additionally, if you would make an attack using a blowgun, well, under the effects of Frog's Breath, the attack's made at advantage, and the effects of Frog's Breath end early. Cool. And we can get rid of the Frog's Breath. But I also don't want super busted mage shenanigans for simple consumable. Oh, the concentration while taking damage is because if someone shanks you, you're probably holding your breath. You're probably going to scream. Yeah, exactly. I totally get that. I actually really like this item. Plus, it makes it like you're getting the effects of 2 spells that like 2 level 1 spells for up to a minute.
Yeah, but also like there are often spells that jump is one that you would use proactively, but normally Featherfall is one that you would use reactively, so it's not really like broken that it's 2 spells at once there.
Some awesome Kobe jump shot with the blowgun. Yes, that's exactly what we want.
And how many of these would you want to give someone?
Oh, well, it depends on where we put it, right? Like, if we put this in... What are our item ranges, Pete? Do you have that off on the website? Can you check that on the shop?
I can, but our consumables are all in one tier.
Are there?
Yep, all our consumables are in one big chunk towards the bottom, other than not counting consumables that are permanent consumables. Those are a different thing. All of our they actually disappear consumables are in just the bottom, towards the bottom of the bag.
Makes sense. What range is it? And what's above and below it?
DnDTime.stream. I can go
I'm
there
just
right
trying to
now.
remember, right? Because I remember
Oh
correctly.
wait, no, I don't want to go on. Oh wait, I can go on DnDTime.stream.
Don't check out the new website, Pete. We don't want to spoil that. Let's see.
Yeah. So above.
Is that uncommon?
Above. Oh, so we do have a section that's listed here that we have rare consumables from 500 to 524.
Yeah, there are very few of them.
But I don't think we actually. I think we may have, in reality, kind of removed that portion of the bag. But our real consumables are like 100 to 124, and they are.
Oh wow, that's really low.
Yeah, and they are between basically common and uncommon, which we overvalue. We give you a lot of bang for your buck with consumables because they're consumables, which we know that a lot of the consumables we put in there are what we would probably consider rare consumables or even very rare consumables, but because of the nature of D&D time, we choose to value them differently.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. I think, like, I don't know, I would probably put, like, maybe 4 of these.
I was thinking 6 to 8, so when I'm split the difference, called 6.
That many, huh?
A nice 6-pack?
I guess the thing is the Featherfall spell isn't the real Featherfall spell, it's just you. It's not you and... What,
yeah,
6
also you
also
can't eat it as a reaction.
Yeah, so I guess 8 is good. I'd be pretty happy with 8 here.
Okay, let's do that. This pack.
Oh, we just say these 8.
Sure. Effervescent tablets were.
You got it, Pete.
Were created by Grung Shaman for consume a tablet.
Yeah, right. No, you gotta eat all of them.
You can consume the tablets. That'd be such a weird way to design it, is you have to eat all 8 tablets for it to work. These effects last as additionally if you make an attack, one affects the fog growth. Great. I think that is ready to ship. Actually, the same blister pack of 6. Yeah, I was kind of with you. I was picturing a blister pack as well, but I
don't know what a blister pack is.
Just the little packs that you get tablets in when you buy pills.
Oh, you know what? I know exactly what those are. Never mind. I lied. Sorry, guys. I'm like out of it today. It was a crazy day. The traffic was brutal. That's all right. Crazy coming from me.
And let us, in that case, move on to our next item tonight, which is one that was submitted by Bionic Shiba, who already wrote in chat earlier. I saw. If you're going to do one of mine, do the crown first. So I think we're doing the golden grung crown. Crown. There we are. And this is an item which requires attunement. This golden gown. Wait, is it crown or?
It's supposed to be a gown.
Oh, I wrote it wrong. In my brain, it was a crown. My mistake. This golden gown appears to have once been grung royalty. While attuned to this item, you appear as a golden grung as if under the effects of the alter self spell, and gain advantage on all charisma ability checks against other grung. Additionally, you gain the effects of the grung's poisonous skin feature. Here it lists that feature. I'll reiterate it. A creature that ends its turn in direct contact with your skin suffers damage equal to your Constitution modifier, minimum of 1 damage. Additionally, when you damage a creature using your blowgun, you may deal extra damage equal to your Constitution modifier, and the creature must succeed on a Constitution saving throw, becoming poisoned until the end of its next turn on a failure. The DC for this saving throw is equal to 8 plus your proficiency bonus plus your Constitution modifier. And that is the item. So, in summation, it gives you the Grung's poisonous skin feature, which we came up with on Brews this past Sunday, or finished up on Brews this past Sunday. And it also gives you advantage on charisma checks against Grung.
I really like this.
I do as well.
I think, well, it's an uncommon item. Okay, hold the phone. I do have a general dislike of putting advantage on items. I know we just did it with the consumable, but it is a consumable. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it is a problem here. Like, we could totally do that, but
it's a, it's a fairly niche effect, I would say. Specifically, charisma against Grung.
And that's
And
why
it also
I'm
is going
more
to,
okay with it.
yeah, and it's also going to
Yeah.
require attunement. I mean, if it was something that was a blanket charisma, I'd be like, whoa.
Now, Pete, off the top of your head, what does the belt of dwarven kind do with dwarf? Because I think that's like a really comparable item to look at here. Right?
Yeah, the Belt of Dwarven Kind allows you to speak the Dwarven language. It allows you to have, it gives you the resistance to poison damage. That was the thing I was going to actually recommend that we put on this, was not poison resistance, but immunity to the poisonous skin feature, so your skin doesn't kill you.
That's probably helpful.
And I think it gives you, I mean, it gives you the beard, obviously. That's the quintessential one. And does it also increase your Constitution score?
Yeah, it does by 1.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. This is not quite a gown of Grungen kind.
No,
but
this is not that.
I just wanted to so you can make sure you can wear old Froggenhoppen. Ugh, yike. Brutal Sheba. That's what happens to all the dead Froggenhoppen. All right, cool. Well, I think even just as is, we're good. Like, I'm not sure there really needs to be much changed here.
It's very well phrased, all of it.
Yeah, very well written.
We do want to put, I think we want to put that immunity thing on it. I was about to change the text on it. I completely misunderstood what you were going for here.
Well, actually, I have another question, Pete. What does the alter self spell actually do?
To one moment, I was just going to say briefly before we go to that. I thought I was going to say the golden gown appears to have once been worn by Grung royalty. No, it appears to have been literally Grung royalty. That's
tragic.
Yeah. Anyway, what does the alter self spell do? It transforms you, not in illusory way. It actually makes you have the dimensions and specs of that thing.
No, but does it?
It does do that, I believe. It has other effects, obviously, as well. It gives you the water breathing.
Yeah, I just want
to
make sure it actually does that. Because we're
it's
referencing a spell here.
Specifically, the change appearance. I'm pretty confident that is what it does, but I can get the exact text for you here.
Yeah, I just wasn't positive off the top of my head because I always think of alter self as like you can get gills or claws or climbing speed or something like that.
Yeah, I'll read it for you. You assume a different form. When you cast the spell, choose one of the following options, the effect of which lasts for the duration of the spell. While the spell lasts, you can end one option as an action to gain the benefits of a different one. We would cut that and just say,
pretty cool.
We would just say, and as per the change appearance portion of the alter safe spell. And then the change appearances, you transform your appearance. You decide what you look like, including your height, weight, facial features, sound of your voice, hair length, coloration, and distinguishing characteristics, if any. You can make yourself appear as a member of another race, though none of your statistics change. You also can appear of a creature of a different size than you, and your basic shape stays the same. If you're bipedal, you can't use the spell to become a quadrupedal, for instance. At any time for the duration of the spell, you can use your action to change your appearance in this way again.
I don't think I've literally ever read that option.
It's very good.
Yeah, that's incredible. Holy shit.
Yeah, that's why the druid gets it at that high level. Druids just become whatever they want, which is cool.
Yeah, that's excellent. All right, so this golden gown appears to have once been. I think we need to be clearer. Instead of just being Grung royalty, it's funny, but I think we need to say the skin of.
Yeah, it has to be clear. Because
we need to be clearer.
I didn't get it, and I was in on the joke.
Yeah. As if so the second part is perfectly fine. Well, is well-tuned this item? I think we just say when you don this item.
No, I think he's right. I think well-attuned.
It's iffy. Some of them don't use it. Some of them do. Plus, I want to do when you don this gown because that way you can take it off while still being attuned to it and just not look like a grung anymore. If there were like a reason you wouldn't want to do this.
Okay, so you're saying you want it to be the
I want to use when you don this gown. That way you can opt to take it off and not.
You want it to be anymore. Yeah. You want it to be more invisibility cloak.
Yeah, because if you do it when you're attuned to it, you're just that grung until you de-attune to it, and there's no going back.
Yeah. Yeah, I get you on that.
Mm-hmm. A golden grung, as if under the effects of the change appearance option of the alter self spell. Always lowercase the spells. I hate it, but that's convention. Additionally, well, you gain advantage on charisma ability checks against against Grung, and gain the effects of the Grung's poison. Seem about right?
Yes.
You gain advantage on charisma ability checks against Grung. Poisonous in. Now, I don't think we actually want to. Yeah, lowercase but italicized, Matty Morks. You're absolutely correct.
Let's just go in.
Are you supposed to quote them? Are you supposed to put them in quotes, Pete?
Yeah.
Holy shit, that's convention I didn't know. It's rare when I run across convention I don't know.
That's a convention.
So that's excellent. I'm loving it. I don't think we need to put the whole text in there. It's kind of like there are rules for this that we have elsewhere now, and I'd rather not, because if we ever change the Grung, because it is it is work in progress. We don't want to have to go and change this item as well. So. Oh, feature of Grung.
Oh, of Grung. Yeah, not of other.
Yeah. Now, is that capitalized? Poisonous skin?
I
think it is. Pretty sure it is.
It's a rare one. That's
positive.
One that doesn't come up a lot because a lot of the time they don't do racial features referenced in that way.
The Rakshasa references divine sense, I think, and it's limited magic. And I think it capitalized it.
I trust you on that one. I'm just going to believe you.
All right. That's what I needed to hear. All right. Cool. Excellent. Perfect. I wasn't positive because it was Homebrew feature. Oh, yeah, Shiba. I totally get it. Why you would put the actual language in there. But in this case, yeah, it's just easier for Pete and I by a landslide.
Yeah.
Just keep it out of it. But otherwise, awesome item. I can totally see this existing in a Grung settlement. It's just the skin of a dead Grung. Yike. All right. Let's go to our next item, Pete. What item is it?
Our next one's going to be coming from Swordco here. Let us take a look at the first one here, which is the frog's tongue. Oh, I remember. I read this one. I really like the frog's tongue. Would you like to take this one, Jeremy?
The frog's tongue? That's Shiba.
Oh, it says Shiba, but
it's actually Swordco here.
It's a lie. It's Sword. Yep.
You, Pete. All right, let me read the frog's tongue. And Sword saying, oh, I don't know, I must have a lot of spelling and grammatical mistakes. Yeah, it's okay, Sword, don't worry.
Yeah,
like, obviously, do the best you can, but yeah, it's not the end of the world. This somewhat sticky, large, squishy pink ball attached to coiled leather handle. The hilt is made of an elegant brass shaped into a frog's head, with the ball sitting in its open mouth. When swung, the ball stretches out like a whip, dealing 1d6 bludgeoning damage up to 30 feet. Due to the sticky ball-like head, it can attempt to grab objects or small creatures, 15 con save, and pull them to you. It is said to be the tongue of the actual Grung noble named Groggan the Longtongue, who in his audacity tried to steal a rare lizard from King Froggenhoppen's dinner for himself. Unfortunately, he was caught, and his punishment, his tongue was cut out and made into a whip. Now he's Groggan No Tongue.
I love the little lore at the end of that for the frog's tongue. Groggan Groggan No Tongue. It's such a sad little story that's been put together in just an instant.
I want to call it Groggan's tongue. I want to just change. I want to take that part of the lore and just put it right in the top. How do you feel about that?
I'm into it.
So I think this squishy, pink, what do we want to call it? Tongue? I don't know if we want to straight call it tongue, right?
So the ball stretches out like a whip, dealing 1d6 bludgeoning damage.
Well,
So it's kind of an altered whip. I think we might want to just make it a whip for starter.
yeah, well, I think the absolute first step is let's stick with a whip as the baseline. And then I really like this grabbing objects within a reach. I think that's really cool. I think that's a really neat and unique aspect. Definitely uncommon.
Yeah, for sure. This is going to be an uncommon item. Probably an attunement item. But I think we could say this squishy pink whip.
There we go. Whip. Was the tongue of a Grung noble so audacious as to try and steal the prize in the Grung King's feast. How do you feel about that?
I am totally good with it.
Yeah. I think we've taken that block of text and summarized it to tell the same story. And I love it. I love it.
And so this is a one thing that is kind of mentioned on this is that the whip itself is meant to have like an extension to it where it can kind of go even further than the length of a normal whip.
Yeah. So I think
I'm just trying to, in my own mind, reconcile what like the balance implications of making a whip that can, because it already has reach. I'm trying to picture.
So I think we just say, what if like the damaging aspect of it, right, was a whip? It only can really do whip damage if you use it in its normal whip range. But it has that extendo reach to grab something.
Elegantly done, Jeremy. Nicely done.
I think that's a cool way of handling it.
Yeah, for sure.
As an action, you may. Do you want to say bonus action even because it's so fast?
What
do you think?
I feel like it depends on. I guess that depends largely on the power that we're going to give this. There's an implication here that we are making it a DC. There's like a save against it, implying that you could maybe like disarm someone with this. So how much we want, like if we're going to allow it to do that, then I don't think we want it to be a bonus action. But if it's just for goofy stuff like, oh, go over and grab this thing over here, then I'm totally fine with making it a bonus action.
So what if we just say an object that is not being held or carried, or worn or carried?
Yeah, I think that's the better way to send this.
Within 30 feet of you. I think keeping 30-foot range is important. And I think we keep that as I like this as a bonus action.
Yeah, I think if we're doing it that direction, then we can do a bonus action for sure.
Now, is this an attunement item? We're getting kind of close on the uncommon range.
Right I think
we can do it without it.
It's right on the edge. If we're not going to add like a +1 or anything to it, I think it's fine. It's just basically a magic whip with this one kind of goofy aspect to it.
So how do we want to do this, right? Does it just automatically get the item? Does it get items that are below a certain weight? Is there a DC based on the weight or size of the item? How do we want to handle it?
The DC based on weight or size, that feels a little bit clunky. I think the best way to do it is to just make it automatic. You just get it.
All right.
And then put the limit of, maybe there's a weight limit on it.
Yeah. What's the language on catapult? 10 pounds.
I was just thinking of Mage Head. That was where I was already headed.
I mean, Sheba was saying a 5-pound restriction. A 5-pound restriction probably makes more sense for a whip, Sheba. However, this is an interesting thing. With the design of 5th edition D&D and trying to make as many things as homogenous as you can so that it's easy to remember the rules. If all of the weight restrictions are 10 pounds, players are going to be a lot easier going to be able to remember what the weight restriction, rather than having a lot of different weight restrictions across items and features. So I think even though it might make more sense for 10 pounds, For £5. We'll probably go with 10 because I think 10 makes more sense to me. I mean, not makes more sense, is better for convention. What do you feel?
I agree. £10 is the way to go. Actually,
Xander
but
was saying the save is for small creatures.
although I will say, Jerry, Catapult does break that convention as much as £10 is the one that I think of. Catapult is choose one object weighing 1 to 5 pounds within range.
Well, that makes me sad now.
Yeah. I like £10 anyway. I'd like to give it a little bit more reach since it's being used as a utility thing mostly.
Okay, so we'll just say that weighs less than 10 pounds.
That's the way the hand does it.
Okay. When you do so, the object is instantly, what is it, slung back to you? Slung is not the right word.
Slung is fine. It's fun.
Slung back to you. Part of. Okay, yeah. When you do so, brought back to you as part of this bonus. I think I think there's I just know what it is. Sort of saying you.
Oh, Jeremy, am I being a robot or?
I don't know. You don't like something you.
You are a complete and total robot, Jeremy. You are a robot still. You still are. All right. In the meanwhile, this is getting pretty close to where it should be. Are there any other caveats that need to be put upon it? Jeremy, speak now your words. Oh, you're muted. I can't hear you at all if you're talking, Jeremy. Yeah, you have no sound.
There we go.
That's super weird. Oh, there you are.
Jeez. All right, guys. So, Discord. Okay, this doesn't make sense. Discord's whack today, y'all.
Discord's whacked every day.
All good again. All right. Well, this is a beautiful item. I love it. I think it's great.
I think it's done as well.
Yeah, I don't think it needs to require an attunement.
No, nope. It's an uncommon item. Does not require attunement.
It's happened.
Oh wait. Never mind. We got the thing.
What? What thing?
I didn't know if we'd put the 30 feet.
Oh, okay.
And actually, I'm just going to. You may swing the whip at an object within. I'm just going to write the word "stretch" in here to make it clear that flavor is getting across, and to that, like, just so no one would ever confuse that. Oh well, the whip has a 30-foot range.
What if we just say swing the whip towards an object?
Sure. That's an equally good way of doing it.
When you do so, the objects instantly recoil back to you as part of this bonus action. Cool. By the way, the Grung-Themed and Lily Pad are two different items the text just merged in the workshop. Oh, okay.
Oh.
All right, so we've gone through one of everyone that submitted things, which is great. Pete, what other items do you have in the workshop? Was there anything new submitted?
No, I've been monitoring unless something happened. Nope, nothing new else in the workshop.
All right, so let's pop back to the top and start going back through these boys, right?
Yeah, I don't know how many of these we'll end up getting through, but we'll hopefully we can do them all, but we'll see.
Yeah, and one thing I just want to mention before we keep going. I really love that everything so far has actually been something that I think I would make a lot of sense to exist in a Grung encampment, right? Which is the whole point of this. I think whenever it is as a dungeon master, you're making a cool something that's supposed to be cool for your players to explore. That is that exploration part of D&D. If you just do this it's all like it's awesome. It's an awesome process, and your players are going to find places way more interesting because there's tons of stuff.
Agreed.
I am.
Absolutely agree. So next up, we have the oil of grung toxicity. This should be a very brisk one. This one was submitted by Frog. And Jeremy, would you care to read this one?
Sure. The oil of grung, a flask of well-prepared oil distilled from grung's poisonous toxin. When applied to a character, they permanently gain the grung racial ability, poisonous skin. I can't speak.
All right.
Interesting concept.
This one I think is going to be very brisk in terms of things that we need to change on it. There's a couple of minor notation things. We'll do this first, as always, and change the notation there. And you don't really need to put the insert racial ability description here, but use the same convention as we did with the gown. The only thing about this one is common, uncommon, rarity, and I would actually personally place this item at about a rare.
Yeah, I certainly would as well. It makes sense that it's interesting because from a D&D time perspective, I think this item kind of makes sense. It's the kind of thing you'd find in Bartholomew's bag.
Yeah.
From a thing you'd find in a Grung encampment, I don't think it does. It's weird to just, why would the Grung have something that transforms people into kind of pseudo Grung? It's just a little funky.
Yeah, the only implications, I can definitely think of some flavors. Like, I could picture them doing this in defense, but I could picture them doing this on their, like, toad mounts.
I see. Yeah, okay. I got you. I'm getting it now. Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. But yeah, I definitely think this is definitely more in the rare range.
Yeah. Anything that applies a permanent boon that's, has a mechanical benefit and that you're not going to have to attune to ever, and you just get it, those are very powerful as a rule, and the baseline for that kind of thing is usually rare. There's very few exceptions that make it into even uncommon.
Yeah, exactly. Well, especially since, like, you got to look at the kind of drop down of it, right? Does it require attunement? No. All right, you're already bumping it up a tier.
Yeah.
The second question is, does it have a very niche use case? And grung poisonous skin, that's damage every time someone makes physical contact or ends their turn in physical contact, which that's something you can guarantee because you can just grapple. So always useful for a lot of characters. And already we're getting into that like stronger range. That being said, I'm not sure I want to make this item for the bag. And the only reason I say that is the grung poisonous skin, that's their special thing. I kind of like it being their special thing.
In the same vein, though, I think you could also make a case that someone else having the grung's poisonous skin would be that person's special thing. Would be like, even though I'm not a grung, I have the poisonous skin.
Yeah, I guess.
It would be the kind of thing, like, boons like this do become iconic to the characters that get them.
Okay, I guess that's fine. I guess we're okay. You sold me. We can just say this. I don't want to use flask. How about we say like wooden, like jar?
Yeah, I'm into that.
Contains oil distilled of grung poison. Contains an oil distilled of grung poison. An action, or actually, I think it's just over the course of a short rest, or during a short rest. Short rest. We always want to put the duration for like how you put it up on yourself, because when applied, how long does it take to apply? What are the side effects, if any? How does it last? All that kind of stuff. So we just say during a short rest, you can apply this oil to your body, permanently gaining the poisonous skin feature of grung. Cool. Additionally,
Are you going to do the same thing that I was going to do?
No.
I was going to give them the immunity as well.
You can go ahead and do that.
All right.
From the a comma and immunity. Additionally, 1d8. Your skin color changes to match the color of this based on. And then, what do we want to say? Drink this Grung poison, it'll be fine.
I love also the idea, like, I'm picturing now them riding, that capital. I'm picturing them now riding into battle on giant toads that have been colored in the color of their own kind. Like,
yeah, be amazing.
There's something very, very cool about that.
So what are our colors? We got tribes, warriors and hunters are green. Blue is artisans and domestic roles. I don't think blue then, because we're looking at this from like a war perspective. The item doesn't really do it. Like, I think we should still keep that in there. So we got green. We have. Are you cool that, or do you want to put all the colors in there?
I'm fine with that style.
Cool.
Purple. Is
because I think administrators, high commanders, yeah, definitely.
I believe
orange, elite warriors.
And then 7 or 8 would be 7. How do you feel about 7 red, which I believe is the color of the magus?
Yeah.
And then 8 gold.
I'm okay with that. And of course, there's definitely convention for how I'm supposed to write this. I have no idea what that is off the top of my head.
That's the kind of thing that sometimes we hand wave, because there is an amount of convention that you can kind of get lost in the weeds a bit, just for practical purposes. But if we were, doing it up really right, we'd go in and get that. I think actually normally the convention is they make little tables underneath.
Yeah, probably.
Which we also can't really format properly.
So the only one we left out was blue.
Oh, in that case, let's get rid of gold and do 7 and 8
red. What
red.
if we say 1 to 3 is green, 4 is blue, 5 is purple, 6 is orange, 7 is red, and 8.
I like it.
That way, you're most likely to be green, which makes the most. Beautiful. Excellent. You know what? I like this item now. Thank you for convincing me, Pete.
No problem. I like it as well.
I mean, I liked it before. I'm just not sure I liked it for D&D time, but you know what? I think you've convinced me.
All right. In that case, let's zip right along to our next one, which is the metal coat, an item submitted by Matty Morgs. And I'll dive right in. Grung may spend 1 minute to apply this shimmering lotion to its skin. For the next hour, the Grung gets +1 to its AC if it isn't wearing heavy armor, and resistance to a damage type, depending on the type of metal coat used. It also takes on the cosmetic shimmer and color of the chosen metal. Note: gold coat, or something maybe a more mechanically powerful application used by the Froggenhoppen and with different properties or cultural taboos to outsider Grung. Otherwise, the brass dragons get fire resistance as a replacement. Up to you if you want to stick to just dragons or create a chart that has extra damage types, including some of the other potential metals and some associated damages there as a recommendation. This is, for anyone who is unable to tune in on Sunday to us brewing the Grung, a reference to a popular joke that was beginning to circulate around, which was that there are the chromatic Grung, which are the regular Grung, but what about the good Grung, the metallic Grung? Is a play on the old dragon lore of good and evil, metallic and chromatic dragon.
It's pretty troll.
It's pretty troll.
It's interesting. This item is a very rare consumable, though.
It's a very rare consumable?
Because here's the thing, right? It's not... it might be a rare consumable. Because potions of resistance are uncommon.
Yeah.
pretty sure. This is a potion of resistance plus armor class.
Yeah, so I would put
But
it
it only works on Grung.
Yeah, I would put it on a rare consumable.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Where the hell do we... This is a very complicated one.
Yeah, there's a lot here. I think in terms of the extra stuff, we don't have room on the item to probably get some of the here's what the golden one is for Fragenhoppen. And instead we'd probably we'd probably, if anything, be more inclined to just design a golden metal coat for Fragenhoppen than put the caveat for it in this. So I think we'd probably cut that chunk of it.
Yeah, Maddie didn't want it to be rare. Yeah, no, I totally get what you're going for. And I think if it's only for Grung, this is not a rare item. You're absolutely right. It's only if we extrapolate this to everything, in which case it's a potion of resistance with a +1 on it. Okay, can't be heavy armor, but that's still...
Yeah, I like that caveat a lot. I think that's a great thing to put on anything where you're playing around with AC in that way.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That being said...
in the context of DnDTime, though, I think this is a consumable that could go in with the other consumables.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
For DnDTime...
That's not really an issue. So.
Yeah, we'd put it down at
the
level.
I would probably personally...
But I think this would be this would actually be like a one-use.
This would probably be a one-use item, a resistance and a bonus in that way. It's slightly the thing I'm thinking is it's slightly less good because it's the resistance and the bonus, but the situation which you're oh, there's a big fight that I want to use this on and get my +1 AC. They're not necessarily going to do that damage that you're wanting to resist, so you won't get the full. Yeah, I mean, you might get very lucky and you get the exact situation where it's a climactic moment where you want to use this boon, and then also an enemy that's going to...
If you get, thunder, that sucks. Sorry, bud. How many creatures get thunder damage?
There are definitely some that are going to...
If you get fire, real good.
Yeah.
That being said, we are kind of running short on time, so I don't know if we're going to totally flush this one out, but I mean, are you on the same page with me here, Pete?
Yeah, I think the... I don't think we're going to have time to go through it, and also, I would like to at least look and talk a little bit about the next two. Yeah. Yeah,
and I want to comment on Maddie Morrison in chat, give scale back to no armor or light armor. I don't think that would change it too much, because I don't think medium armor is really that big a deal, and the light armor guys can be just as tanky as the heavy armor, honestly. With their
it's on the fence in that regard.
Yeah, it would be rare in Dungeons and Dragons. In DnDTime, it's fine.
Yeah.
And
it's even on the fence. It's right on the rare fence in my mind for D&D. Even that +1 AC isn't. It's interesting.
Well, you're right because it does have the caveat to it.
Yeah, I don't know if I feel I
don't know.
I feel like D&D might put this in the rare and might put it in the uncommon and think of it on the high end of such, because they sometimes oh, this is a major uncommon magic item,
Yeah, well,
I don't know. I think it's on the boundary.
I think depending on the resistance, it's uncommon or rare. If it's fire, it's rare. If it's thunder, it's definitely not rare.
Yeah.
It's a little funky.
Which D&D doesn't treat those differently usually too.
Yeah, which is dumb. But regardless, I like the item actually. It's
I do too. Yeah.
I like
the joke behind the item.
I also
which is the legend of the metallic Grung.
About bismuth is excellent choice for necrotic. Cobalt, excellent choice for psychic. I'm into this. But yeah, I like it. Thank you for sharing, Maddie.
Thank you.
Let's go down to the blowback gun by Bionic Shiba.
Take it away, Jeremy.
This blue blowgun was created to be fired with great force, allowing weaker Grung to escape dangerous encounters. The blowgun has 5 charges. While holding it, you can use an action to expend 1 or more of its charges to fire a blowback dart. When you hit a creature with a blowback dart, you can push the creature up to 5 feet away from you in a straight line for each charge used. The blowgun regains all expended charges daily at dawn. I love it.
A well put together item.
It's perfect.
I don't think we need to change a thing.
Yeah, it's really good. there maybe needs to be a saving throw on the blow thing, because you hit for 25, you hit and just knock something back 25 feet. That's really good.
Yeah.
I think if you would
I
just
also-
get rid of or more charges, like I think this would be uncommon at 3 charges, and you expend 1 charge to knock the creature back 5.
And I would probably, certainly with the 5 charges, I would put attunement on it. I'd be on the fence otherwise.
Oh, I guess, yeah, if we want to just put attunement on it, it's good with 5 charges as it is.
Yeah. I would want to think about putting attunement on this as well. And that's the thing I would talk. But that was a very well put together item. I like the flavor it. I picture the tiny little baby grun. I like the picture of, like, I don't know, some jungle predator, like, crashing down on it. It's just when it goes, like, flying a million miles away. It's a cool...
A jaguar!
Yeah, it's a cool aesthetic.
Yeah. Excellent. And also, just like the metal coat, I really like these as, like, ideas that would fit in a Grung society. I dig it a lot.
Agreed.
All right, what are we at now? The Grung-brella!
Yes.
Excellent.
And this will be probably our last one that we'll look at tonight.
Yeah, take it away.
A very large folded lily pad that can be unfolded and used as an umbrella to shelter you from the elements. When unfolded, it seems to always have a small pool of water in the center that never seems to run out, that also protects the Grung-brella from ailments that would normally damage plants like fire. The player can use an action to open the Grung-brella and cast Create or Destroy Water at first level. Faced with the humid and wet conditions... Oh, wait. That's where the cut... Okay, that's where the cut was. Great. I cut it too soon. All right. It's an umbrella that lets you create or destroy water. I like how simple it is. I think you have an extra caveat on it about it, like it can't be burned by fire. You don't really even need to bother putting that in there. If it's a magic item, it's kind of assumed that it's not going to get destroyed by natural things.
I don't know. I think it's worth saying that it's immune to fire.
Really?
I think so. I think a lot of DMs handle magic items differently. We treat magic items as like, oh, they're basically indestructible unless something extraordinary happens. Other DMs are a lot more restrictive with them.
Is that like a...
So far as I'm aware, there's not actually any language on it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know.
Kind of a dick if you destroy all your players' magic items.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we
shouldn't. So many.
I feel like we shouldn't account for the jerks of the world, though, in design.
Well, regardless, I actually really like this. I think it needs a restriction, though, and that is once this ability has been used, it cannot be used again until 10 minutes.
In my mind, I put something like that in there. I just assumed that this was like a 1 a day or something, but...
and actually, I see Sword's got the rest of the lily pads there. I want to put them down here. Whoopsies. But yeah, I think it needs something to limit that create or destroy water, but I don't think it should be once a day, because that's just such a minor thing for once a day.
Okay, so I will read that. Sword just posted it in chat. Yeah, that was flavor for this item.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that was what I was thinking originally. Faced with the humid and wet conditions of the swamp, lily pads can grow to exponential sizes. Grungs often use them for protection from harsh weather and to collect fresh rainwater when away from any wetlands. However, there is a special species that the Grung covet for its ability to pull water naturally from the air and survive indefinitely despite being uprooted or cut. I like that quite a bit.
I'll say that's a lot of flavor text, but it's a very good flavor text, and I think I'd actually keep probably almost all of that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's ways that you can kind of push pieces of this here and there and kind of condense it down while keeping all of the ideas that are put within it, kind of like we did for Groggin's Tongue. And I think in a lot of ways, like, I don't know if you were designing that to be actually written in the item or just this being like, this is what the lore of this item is. But I dig it quite a bit.
Excellent.
I think so too. Yeah.
So yeah, I love this. I think it needs some sort of restriction on the create destroy water, kind of like how the blowback gun had the 5 charges. Maybe 5 charges would be a way to handle this.
Yeah.
Maybe
or you can do. I would picture
for short rests.
I
So
would
a
even
rest
be
I
cool
like
if I was going to say one, make it just one a day, and then give it a higher level create or destroy water. Just because, like, there's no reason not to.
No, there is.
What is the, does
fire
it,
elementals? They take damage when you pour water on them.
oh, I mean, so there's no reason not to.
Hey,
My
there's
statement,
reason.
my statement remains.
Anyway,
That's almost
I
a
love the
reason
item.
too. The situation in which you kill a water elemental with your weird create water umbrella is an amazing situation that I would want to happen.
I think in D&D time, we're gonna come to agreement here. In D&D time, you're right. Once a day, bigger create destroy water. In an actual campaign, keep it low level, but have it recharge on a short rest.
I agree.
Perfect. That way they can use it more often in like a full campaign, and it can still be a fun, cool facet of your character that always comes up and you regularly use. And yeah. And in D&D time, you can fucking just annihilate a fire elemental, and Pete will be sad that he used a fire elemental.
There'll just be two more that I forgot to mention.
Oh, yeah, we also have to say it can be used as an umbrella. Anyway, beautiful item. Thank you so much, Sword. Thank you, everyone, for submitting your awesome items today. It's actually been a ton of fun.
Always
I really
always
enjoyed
is.
this. So we've been kind of moving in this direction of like trying to theme our stuff together. We did some brews on creating the Grung race, and now we did this Grung items, and maybe we'll do like a talks at some point about like how we would run Grung in our games or something like that. Let us know how you think about kind of how you guys feel as chat about us kind of theming together our weekly content.
Yeah, because it's something that we can just do. It's not, we just change the way that we kind of do things behind the scenes. So it's not a big change if you enjoy it.
Yeah, so just let us know how you feel. We appreciate you all being here. We love you guys, as always. And now, Pete, the best part of the show, take it away.
Do you have the thing?
What?
Ask Pete and Jeremy.
Oh, shh! I go out.
Ask Pete and Jeremy.
Oh no, it's on DnDTime Talks.
All right, well.
No, Pete, I'm getting it now.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Pete,
I sung it already, Jeremy. Jeremy, sing it with me.
Wait. No, I'm getting it. Talks. Go. Oh, wait, crap.
Ask Pete and Jeremy. Oh, gee, I'm not going to listen. All right.
I'm sorry, guys.
Why you do this? Welcome to Ask Pete and Jeremy, the show where we discuss all things Dungeons and Dragons. This is the segment where we answer questions. We got exactly one question today. Does worlds exist in Legend tier? If so, is it overrun by monstrosities that should never have existed, or is it taken over by one of the generals? This is a wonderful question. I'm actually going to give you a little insight into the manner in which I designed that particular adventure. When I built DnDTime Worlds and what that was, I thought to myself, this can never actually exist. This can never be here for more than but a fleeting moment. So I designed an adventure that was designed to destroy itself at the end. So D&D-Time Worlds, in its effective nature, is gone. It's dead. It's completely exploded. The monsters, there's things that have been unleashed. That is true. You guys did some crazy stuff there, and the world will never be the same as a result. But the equipment and the things that made the things that happened in D&D-Time's world possible are gone and dead and destroyed. I'll tell you that without even you having to look, and you get it for free.
There you go.
And that's my answer to that question. But yeah, there are definitely, if you want to go down there, place at least exists, and there's probably some scary things down there if you are interested.
Also, if you go to the Wilderwood in the Legend tier setting, it's been completely cut down, and there's like a tree half sticking out of the sand, and it's the planet of the Quagos, and yeah, it's tragic.
Sad day.
Do we have any other questions, or was that it?
We got one more from Sword. One more question. And he asks, what do you guys do with rejected enemies / villains within the world of D&D time?
What do you mean rejected?
Yeah, I guess there aren't any. If we have like an idea, I guess we have ideas that don't ever see like the floor. There are times I know, at least for me, I got lots of stuff that just kind of floats around, and then just I finally come to the conclusion, no, I just don't think I can make it work, and then it just doesn't make it into D&D time.
For me, what'll happen is I'll come up with an idea, and I'll start putting stuff together, and I'll hit a point where I'm like, I'm super into the idea, and then I just hit a wall, and I'm just like, all right, this is dumb now. I can't do any more with this. I can't finish the adventure. And I actually have a special tab in our adventure prep document for future adventure concepts. Some of them are just names for adventures. Some of them are entire concepts for adventures that, like, for example, there's an adventure in there that's been there for over a year and a half called the Grand Tour, where the players will have to give a group of people a tour through Central City Zoo and keep all of them alive. Actually, I ran that about 3 months ago. But the point is, it was sitting there for over a year, just waiting for me to run it, because the inspiration just hadn't. I had everything ready about the adventure except for what was going to happen in the adventure. And so for me, that's what happens with a lot. Yes, Lord, you were in it. And there's a bunch more of them, like there's like a druid decagon, which is just something that was said stupidly in chat one time, I think by Rex, which is going to be a druid love decagon, which is just going to be a nightmare. The land before D&D time. There are many adventures, which I know what's going to happen, but I don't know.
The land before D&D time is a great title, Jeremy.
Yeah, there are so many that, like, just amazing titles.
For me, the ones that like don't make the cut, the ones that don't make the cut for me are usually ones that, like, because the next question from Bionic Sheba here is, how often do you make things that you can't really place in D&D time? Not very often, honestly, because D&D time is such a wacky and wild world. Anything that we can, like, anything that we can come up with will fit somewhere, and we can, if it doesn't fit, we'll find a place in which to make it fit. We'll build somewhere new in the world to make it fit.
Yeah, there are definitely some things that, like, don't quite work for certain reasons, and they're tonal things.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and that was the thing I was going to talk about. I had one. Yeah. Do you have one in mind for yourself?
I mean, not really. I mean, everyone has, like, the hag that bathes in children's blood to stay young, right? It's got that kind of, like, the aspirations of, like, sexy, beautiful youth or something, right? That, like, hags often go for. That's something that we just don't go for in D&D time, because it's not really appropriate for the tone of the show we're running.
As an example on my end, I had an idea that I was playing around for a lot of times. I know I even told you about it, Jeremy, which was a whole large-scale region I wanted to make in D&D time called the Gray Area. And some of this conference kind of got put into the Fashion Warlocks a tiny bit, just in the flavor of it, which was going to be an entirely gray region of the map where everything's drained of color. And in there, every adventure would basically have two outcomes. And they were just, each one was put with a moral choice where both sides felt kind of bad, and you had to just make a tough moral decision over the context of the adventure through it. And it just, I thought about it for a long enough time, and I could never come up with a way where it would be fun to do in D&D time, because we want you guys to be heroes.
Would be fun sometime. But there are sometimes, like, we don't know how you feel coming into an adventure.
Exactly.
And if you come into an adventure feeling down or feeling lousy, and we do that to you, you're going to feel real unhappy. Where some other players who are, you know, happy and feeling great, and they come into that adventure like, wow, that was a real moral struggle. Damn, you made me really think. And they might really appreciate it.
But it's a thing that I kind of ended up deciding I didn't want to play around with in D&D time, because we do generally try and keep our world a pretty fun, lighthearted place, at least, you know, for the most part. Even the Green Sun cult, which is the wildest I get on the darker side, they're still kind of an objective bad enemy, and you as players are trying to deal with and defeat them in a sense, where it's not like you have to feel like you did something wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's an example. That's the kind of stuff that doesn't fit in D&D.
I've had 2 that are kind of iffy as well. I mean, first, comment on the gray area. Now it's just evil. It's like brutal. Instead of making you make horrible choices, it's just fucked up. Which I'm very excited for when players explore the gray area. But what was I going to say? There was one adventure I've been planning for a while, and I think it fits under that first category I was talking about before, but it also fits under this topic, where the Duke of Winter is going to hire adventurers using Bartholomew bucks. He's going to offer them Bartholomew bucks to go and murder Plumpy, or not Plumpy, Jolly, out in the candy cane forest. Just assassinate this poor, happy candy creature. And that's, I don't know. I'm
There are
kind of
definitely
into it still.
There are characters that would like it, and there are characters that would not. And
Yeah.
it very much depends on the party and making sure that people have the buy-in. And that's also just a hard thing for us to do in D&D time, because groups are ragtag and random, and everyone has different goals. So,
Well, and what exactly is in that adventure that I'm prepping, or that I was thinking of there? What happens in it? Obviously, the concept is, we know what's going to happen, but how that happens, that's what's going to be the big difference of what makes that a good or bad adventure. Making sure they're the appropriate challenge.
yeah.
So I'll just make sure Switch and Uchonkus and Nigel and Crixus are all in that adventure. It'll be fine. Anywho, I think that just about is a wrap for today.
We got one more. We got one final question. It's from Dendary Ninja. What's your favorite type of snack?
Ooh.
What's
my favorite kind of snack?
I don't know if I have a quick answer.
Just a second. Sword, I'm not saying that they're neutral. I'm saying those people are evil. I'm just, you're neutral. Those that I mentioned are evil. I'm sorry. Favorite snack?
I'm going to look it up. I don't know what it's called. Do you have one in the meanwhile?
Yeah, there's a lot of snacks I really like. I'm a fan of mini snack. I really like Vipers as a general kind of rule. I'm a big fan of Vipers. I like the water moccasin. It's cool.
What's the friendly big yellow one?
What? What is it, banana python?
Banana python? Is that it?
I don't know.
You might be right. It sounds familiar.
I'm close. I'm a maybe.
No, it's not it. There's the big yellow one that you get to hold at zoos sometimes. It's very big and it's very yellow. Ball python.
Gosh, coral snake? Jesus, I figured you were more of a king snake.
I like that snake.
That was some snake humor.
Because they seem chill, and I want to have one that would just like come up and just chill on my neck and just hang.
Speaking of which, don't buy snakes, guys. They're not. I'm not big snakes. They don't make great pets.
That's defo true.
All right. Well, I think that is just about a wrap. Thank you, all of you guys, for coming in, for hanging out, for submitting your awesome items. I love this is actually really inspiring. I really, we didn't talk much about it, but the metal coat, I'll be real. I have some adventures kicking around about these, like, Underdark Grung. Oh, gosh, I just messed some stuff up formatting-wise.
They're going to be
Underdark metal Grung.
Are they going to be even more evil Grung? They're, like, extra evil Grung?
I think they're just weirder.
Oh, that sounds about right.
But anywho, thank you guys. We love you. I think that's about it.
No, wait. Let's just do the other things real quick. Tune in on Friday for Pete and Jeremy's D&D Time. It's a show where we run one-shots. You can find a link about how to join it below. And then tune in on Sunday for what I believe will be the finale of Waterdeep Dragon Heist. Jeremy's been running us through that for a while now. And I think this Sunday's final adventure should be a lot of fun. Yeah,
it's going to be great. I'm going way off script. So it should be a pretty dramatic climax to the
He's
adventure.
off script.
I'm very excited.
He's off the book.
It's going to be good. It's going to be real good.
You'll have to tell us what the book was. I'll just be curious.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to tell you what the book is after, and you're going to be like, yeah, that makes sense.
All right.
Anywho.
That is now all. We'll have a pile of announcements, I'm sure, on Friday. But for now, it's all. I'm Pete.
And I'm Jeremy.
And this is
DnDTime
Brews.
Good night.
You guy didn't think I was going to get it, but then
we got
we got it.
All right, goodbye, everybody.